must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
We call for a non-violent revolution. We call for a non-violent protest. We call for a non-violent march. This is what we are demonstrating to the world, and we have resisted Mr. Biya's army of occupation in our land, but this is a moment that we must continue to stand firm.
Of this nation.
Along with many other Cameroonians, many of you, as far back as the early 90s, and more frequently lately, I have insisted upon the imperative nature of genuine dialogue. Unfortunately, the government's solution has been cosmetic reforms and repression. Teachers, lawyers who raised legitimate concerns were either arrested or forced into exile. Doctors, important people in our society who asked for genuine dialogue, were met with punitive transfers and humiliation. It is regrettable that the government hasn't learned from the past.
We are Ambazonas. We don't need anything again. The only solution to the matter is let the government solve this problem by giving our independent freedom.
We have a territory of our own. We recognize international boundaries. We have a language. We have a culture. We have our own laws. We have everything that is required by international standards to be a people and a nation and a state. The UN must give us this right.
We as a people, we have the right to self-determination, and we are determined to go our separate ways.
The people of the Southern Cameroons have suffered under the brutal regime of the annexationists, La République du Cameroun. We have suffered for 56 years, and we finally decided that enough is enough.
I think dialogue is the main solution, because the use of military has never been a solution to a problem concerning this kind of issues. So the government of Cameroon has to dialogue with the Anglophone regions to come to a compromise and let this problem be solved.
Now, we want to inform the whole world that the Southern Cameroonian prisoners of conscience in the jails of Yaoundé are on the second day of their declared hunger strike. Now, we want the entire world to know, because we are convinced that the regime in Yaoundé will be indifferent until they begin to die. While we encourage our brothers in this process, we also call on Southern Cameroonians to join them in a fasting, so that the whole world may know that we are a determined people.
Self-determination cannot be effective without self-defense. We are opposed to violence. We are opposed to war. But if La République, if the UN should continue to dilly-dally as they are doing, and La République comes now to attack our people, they are forced, they are bound by the law of nature to defend themselves.
We call for a non-violent revolution. We call for a non-violent
and London simultaneous and Johannesburg, and in Cameroon, in Amazonia, in the ground zero, people watching us live, wherever you are in the world, whether you are in Singapore, Russia, in China, in America, in Europe, watching us, all those people from Amazonia in the diaspora, good afternoon. Viewers, yes, good afternoon, viewers, wherever you are. Today we are delighted to have a guest in the studio. I will not introduce the guest first, but I want to tell you that for the last 2.5 years, we have been monitoring the situation in Cameroon, in southern Cameroon. The situation in southern Cameroon, where we have had very many difficulties. Let's first of all, is it okay? The situation in southern Cameroon, where the Amazonian people have been molested, killed, tortured, raped, destroyed by President Biya. He stand on his own people and hitting them, killing them in thousands, slaughtering them in thousands, making them internal displaced people, killing children, stopping them from going to school, changing all the laws. The simple thing is speak English. We have been monitoring such a situation. Our station monitors such issues in Africa. Our station looks at what ails Africa. The type of dictatorship that Biya has brought on the continent, going for the 7th term. The 7th term again. The children who were born, who were not born, I've seen one man, and one man continues to be the leader, but fine. But give the people the freedom, the dignity that they deserve. Give them their rights to decide where to belong. The Cameroonian situation is very interesting. 1961 Resolution 608 of 21st of February, which talks about a very terrible question that was put to the people of Cameroon. Do you want to remain in Nigeria or you want to remain in Cameroon? That was a very funny mistake that we made. We should not make such a mistake again. I looked at that history. The questioning was very badly placed. The people needed a state. They voted to have a state. Someone failed them. Someone on the United Nations Security Council has sat on this formation of the state. And that person on the Security Council is France. I have no regrets. Very many Africans watching me on this station know very well that my fight with the French hegemony on the continent is open. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to sacrifice my life, but fight for the truth against the French hegemony that dismembers most of the African countries. Wherever the French step, there is bloodshed. Look at Libya. Look at Amazonia. Look at Biafra. Look at Central African Republic. Look at the Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at Rwanda. This to mention but a few. Keeping quiet and being silent does not help us, does not help Africa, does not help the late Sakuture, does not help NASA, does not help Nyerere, does not help Emperor Haile Selassie, does not help Nkrumah. Nkrumah wants people to speak, to continue speaking and talking about African political unity. But the unity where some parts of Africa are injured, that unity when a country is bleeding, the unity when Cameroon is bleeding, the Amazonians are bleeding, The unity when you find Central African Republic, which has no tourist destination, but France is carrying 2 Airbus every day of gold and mine, minerals and diamonds back to Paris. That unity cannot come. Africa needs to stand up. Somebody needs to stand up and speak for Africa. I've decided to do so. The journey might be long. Those who will take over from me will fight so. I'm at the top of it. I might not see the fruits, but I will see Amazonia free one day. I will see the people of Central Africa peaceful. I will see the people of Southern Sudan peaceful. That's why this television station is there. We speak the truth. We lay the facts. We show the truth. We put on the table. Beer has killed people. It is genocide. There's nothing short of that. It's purely genocide. Why has the world turned a blind eye? Why? Why has the world turned a blind eye on the genocide that is taking place in Amazonia? Why has the world turned a blind eye on the atrocities committed by a government that is answerable to international community? Why hasn't the ICC moved in to arrest, to deter the killings that are taking place in Amazonia by the Cameroonian army of Paul Biya? The answers are very clear. Oil, minerals, timber, gold, whatever you are mining from Cameroon. If you do it, it might not come. It is simple. The international community is more interested in interests of economic nature than the interests of human rights of the people of Cameroon, of Amazonia. They are not interested. They don't want to hear anything as long as the minerals keep on going into their coffers in Paris and elsewhere in the metros of Europe. With me in the studio to discuss this and very many other things, I can see I've touched the real fulcrum of what is ailing Africa. What ails Africa? Our bad politics. We are broadcasting this in conjunction with our sister station, the partners in Southern Africa, the South Cameroon Broadcasting Corporation. If you want to view us, we are in 147 countries live now. We can be seen live. You can go to free-to-air decoder. You will see us live. There might be hiccups of power and satellite communication which is coming, but you will pick us on the way. For the people of Cameroon, of Amazonia, there is hope. Your leaders are fighting for you. They are expressing, not violently here, they are expressing they are asking the world. We want the people of Kenya, we want the people of East Africa to hear their voices. Because CNN cannot give them the voices. BBC has refused to give them the voices. Most African stations ignore the plight of the people of Amazonia, yet the killings, the maiming, the destruction, the raping, the torture, the thousands of refugees who have fled Cameroon, who are scattered all over the whole world as a result of bad leadership, can be seen in the countries where we live. In Kenya, there is a sizable number of Cameroonians who have left Cameroon because they can't stand, because they speak English. That's all. Because they speak English, you come and kill them. The Commonwealth, why don't you look at this problem? My friend, Baroness Scotland, when we were in the Labour Party together in Britain, I told you about Zimbabwe. You erred on Zimbabwe. Tony Blair, you have seen what you did to Zimbabwe. Today, you are not even thinking about what you are doing about Amazonia. You are killing people. There are people being killed. And you have no moral obligation, it looks like, to say, Bia, can you come here? Let's have a discussion on how to let the people of Amazonia free. That is the case I lay before you. African Union. The African Union we know is captured. Has been captured by the French hegemony. The French pay the ICC. So the ICC cannot come for beer. Because if the ICC comes for beer, the money will be withdrawn. So here we are caught up in catch-22. Our trousers in the knees, our shirts upstairs. But as Africans, we are not going to give up. My guest in the studio, therefore, is one of those who has been saying politely and saying, please listen to the voices of the people of Cameroon, of Amazonia, of southern Cameroon. Listen to their voices. They have a point. Mr. Milan Atam, is it?
You are right.
Mr. Milan Atam is the chairman of Southern Cameroon Congress of the People. He has worked, he has talked to very many people in the world. He continues to talk, to lobby, together with some other leaders that are also doing their part to make sure that there is better life for the people of Amazonia. Mr. Milan Atam, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
This show is Matsanga Africa Perspective.
Thank you.
I'll shoot questions. Shoot me the answers. I want us to discuss. I want to give you time to test the microphone. Test the microphone. That is your camera.
Yes.
Tell the people who you are, what do you do.
Yes.
This is the gentleman Matsanga you hear about. I have conquered several things in the world. Cameroon won't defeat me. Beer won't threaten me.
No ways.
Because I stand for the truth of Africa.
No ways.
Talk to the machines.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. Thank you for inviting me to your studio. I have to say, and I think everybody heard me when I exclaimed and said, I didn't realize your studio was this big and so impressive. So yes. Thank you so much for the work that you've been doing for the African continent. And thank you most especially for the work that you've been doing for the people of Southern Cameroons. Yeah. We are especially grateful, and I think I do not speak for just myself, but for all the people of Southern Cameroons, and most especially for the people of the Southern Cameroons Congress of the People. As you know, as a movement, we have gone on a multi-pronged approach towards getting the world to understand what our revolution is all about. And like you were saying, the Biya regime and all the games that it has been playing is not going to defeat us. We are going to defeat that regime. And like you rightly said, it is going to happen in our lifetimes, and we are all looking forward to that. Thank you once again for welcoming me to your studio.
Thank you very much. As you see, he has tested the machines. Question number one, it goes, welcome, Mr. Milan, the chairman of Southern Cameroon People's Congress. I welcome you to Nairobi. You are addressing millions of people watching across the globe.
Millions.
Millions are watching. They want to hear from you.
Yes.
My first question goes, you just celebrated the first anniversary of the restoration.
Yes.
How do you assess the participation of individual frontline movements that advocate for your rights to make your problem known to the international community on this day?
Thank you. Let me take us 1 year back when we celebrated the restoration of our statehood. Anybody who watched would have seen the miracle that created itself when millions of our people across the world, in different countries of the world, came out in their masses to celebrate that day. It was especially symbolic and historic day for us. And when we went into the first anniversary of the restoration, for many, there was a bit of uncertainty. while you talk about, your question asks about an assessment of the movements which stand for the restoration of our statehood. I would like to rather zoom in to the role that was played by the people on ground zero. I have never seen anything like that. And I think for me, it was an emotional moment when we in the diaspora, in the countries across the world, we were celebrating and thinking, how can we make this day work? But most of all, how can we support our people back on ground zero so that they can make this day a special day on ground zero? They took the leadership. In fact, they led and we followed. The women, the children, the young men, the old men, all of them coming out in different villages. And I have to say, I take my hat off to the people on ground zero.
Yes.
For the movements, my message remains the same. Let the movements continue to play the role they've been playing. Let they be the vanguard of our struggle. Let them continue to lead the way and tell the world our story. We have got a painful story, but it is a beautiful one. When one day we turn around and look at how far we've come and how much progress we've made, it will be a beautiful story. So I can only but encourage the movements, every single individual that participated on this day, because like many other countries across the world, the 1st of October is historic, and it will be one of those days that we will celebrate as a people when the time comes.
Thank you very much on that one. And of course, the record will speak for itself when time comes. There are several people who think we should not have taken that route. We should have waited to negotiate. From 1961 to date, the country is under United Nations General Assembly. You have asked for this thing.
Yes.
It doesn't come. You have tried all ways. Nobody wants to listen to you.
Yeah.
United Nations General Security Council, France is a permanent member.
Yeah.
It has blocked anything that comes from anywhere near southern Cameroon.
Yeah.
Nigeria plays a part of participation in massacres and the killing and arbitrary arrests of its political leaders. Even those who have claimed asylum in Nigeria are abducted, thrown back to Beira. Some of the activists on the ground say, well, you should have waited for dialogue. Do you accept that you would have waited for dialogue? And if so, we advocate for dialogue. This station advocates for restoration and a peaceful resolution of conflicts. Has the situation in Cameroon, in southern Cameroon, passed the level of dialogue?
Back to the question as to whether we should have waited, or maybe it was a bit too early to declare our statehood, the restoration of our statehood. Let me start by saying that we were 57 years late for that declaration. When the United Nations decided to give us 2 options and refuse us the 3rd option, many of those in my generation feel that we should have stuck to our guns and insist on getting that 3rd option. Because perhaps we didn't get the 3rd option, we then were stuck for 56, 57 years of one of the 2 options. We were 57 years late in the restoration of our statehood. Now, anybody who has understood how the Biya regime operates would know that this is not a regime with whom you dialogue. We have had the opportunity to talk to this regime, this regime has been given every opportunity. And let's not forget, Biya was deployed from France in 1962.
Yes.
In a few years, Biya would have been deployed for 60 years, playing the role that his masters asked him to come and play. So there is no way, even when the master is now telling the student, listen, I think you've gone too far. Why don't you initiate dialogue? The student understands no other language because the student has been participating and practicing the art of deception for the past 60 years. It is not going to stop any day now. So was it too late for us to declare the restoration of our statehood? Definitely not. We did the right thing. Freedom generally is not something that you are given. Freedom is something that you take, and we've taken our freedom. Now, it might be a painful step, but we are on the right track. Now, you were asking the question, is there the chance of dialogue? Is it still time for dialogue? We have made that very clear from 1 year ago. There is going to be no dialogue with the Biya regime. The only conversation we are going to have is a negotiated settlement of how we part ways. That negotiated settlement is one that says these were two separate countries in 1961 when the Southern Cameroons gained its independence. As two separate countries, how do you want to go your separate ways? Do you want to go your separate ways in a friendly manner, or do you want us to take it from you by force? Whichever way is preferred is how we're going to take it. Eventually, the international community would be forced to come on the playing field and play its role and take responsibility for the role it played way back in 1961. And that's where we're pushing this. So there is no doubt in our minds. So, and by the way, I think this game is way past beer. We've already gone past the beer part of it all.
Yes.
We are now on a scope as the Southern Cameroons Congress of the People. Our focus is now on the international community. And that is why we are making 2019 the year of the internationalization of our revolution.
Okay. That's very good. I have looked at Cameroon, Southern Cameroon, read the Human Rights Report, seen everything that Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International write. I have equally looked at the Bia's side.
Yes.
Where instead of President Bia addressing the problem, calling for this, the togetherness of a nation,
yes,
he has sent troops to kill. Those watching us out there,
yes,
would like to ask, what next if the president of the country surrenders troops, sends troops to go to the villages to slaughter? There are so many, very many graphic pictures that I cannot show on my television. I wouldn't like to show them. I want us to go this route. My nation has been in that type of conflict before. I took part in one of the most brutal wars to negotiate in that brutal war, the Northern Uganda conflict.
Yes.
I stood high. I became the chief negotiator, the leader of the delegation, despite the killings, the sufferings of my people who suffered under the 23-year-old war.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this Amazonian situation between Cameroon, Yaoundé, and Bua.
Yes.
Bua, the capital, and the Amazonians. The killings, the teeth to that.
Yes.
The army comes to wipe out. People have to defend themselves. The movements that are mushrooming are defending themselves from the ruthlessness, the ruthless army of Bia.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that you want the international community? What do you want them to do? What do you want us to do now? Because the situation on the ground, according to the humanitarian agencies, is worsening.
Yeah.
The killings are going on. What you as a leader, one of the Cameroonian, as Amazonian leaders, who has asked for the restoration of a state, of the statehood, what can we do?
The first thing I would like to draw the attention of the international community to is that the brutality that you see is not something that is new. That is something we have been living with. It has only come to the fore because we've decided finally that we cannot keep this contained as we've always contained, with the hope that someday the regime is going to change, or that Bia is going to change from the brutal dictator that he is. 36 years down the line, nothing has changed. The one thing that I can tell you for sure is that the situation is worsening. The regime is going more and more desperate.
Yes.
And make no mistake, it is not by coincidence. We've pushed the regime to the point, and this was always the strategy.
Have you shut down the schools?
Schools have shut themselves down.
Yes.
In the midst
I'm now coming to hot area.
Yes.
Have you shut down the schools?
Schools have shut themselves down.
Yes.
Dr.
The
Matsanga,
national communities are choosing you for shutting down the schools.
You talked about northern Uganda.
Yes.
In the days, I spent a lot of time in Yei, right next door to Uganda. In the days when things were hot in northern Uganda,
the schools were shut.
Schools were shut. Did anybody shut them down?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yes. So I am just trying to tell the international community that the situation has gotten to the point where it is beyond Bia's capacity. First of all, at his age, and remember, it is on record that he's 85, 86 years old. that is around more or less where when he was, you know, in the days when people were born towards 1933, like he says, he could have been born in 1923. The man is no longer a normal person. And we've pushed this to the point where it is beyond his capacity to do much. So now, the international community has got a responsibility. We start with the United Nations. We are in this mess today because the United Nations organization failed to play its role of leadership and foresight to be able to foresee that this was going to happen. And it is not a blame game. We are not doing this because we want to blame anybody, but we are saying mistakes have been made. Now, how do we rectify those mistakes and we move forward? That is all we are saying. We are not blaming. Our people are getting killed. My parents are there. I don't know, any day now, I could hear a story. My brother had his
also the beer intelligence is watching.
Oh, yes.
Because it watches us. Mr. B, I'm a general, so I'm also a brigadier general, so I have no worries about that. And I don't subscribe to any French threats.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I was giving you the case of my brother who had his belongings burned down completely. Yes. And they're targeting our people. Our leader who is in jail, Siseko Ayoktabe, they targeted his house and his property, and he lost his brother. Now, this is happening. We know it's happening. This is a sacrifice we are paying. We've decided to pay in order to get the ultimate liberty that we want. And the message is clear, therefore. It is not, we are not on our knees begging for our liberty, for our freedom. We have taken our freedom. Now we are only telling the international community, come onto the table and let's talk reasonably. Because the time I was in South Sudan, early 2007, late 2006, early 2007, when the world realized that South Sudan was going to be a country on its own, they didn't invite anybody. Countries were coming into Juba and putting in place their embassies and their consulates because they knew that South Sudan sooner or later is going to be a country with a lot of oil and a lot of potential. We are now telling the international community, this is the time to come to the table and start talking to us and start paving the way towards the future, because that future, we are going to guide the future because that's our motherland. It's not, Mr. Biya cannot take it away from us. Okay. So international community is invited to come on board and be players in the redesign of the Southern Cameroons of the future that we want to put in place.
Thank you very much. You know very well my other question coming. We are Pan-Africanists.
Yes.
In my opening remarks, I talked of Nkrumah,
yes,
Sekuture,
yes,
Kabura, Nasa, Haile Selassie, yes, Nyerere,
yes,
Obote, Jomo Kenyatta.
Yes.
Look at them. Africa has many of those who want African unity.
Yeah.
Integration. The AU Charter is talking of integration.
Yeah.
You need, there are so many, it's a climb, a tough climb. And I want you to give me some, don't worry about me. Me, I am with you.
Yes.
But there are some hardliners on the continent,
yeah,
who would not like to listen to that.
Yeah.
They don't want to listen to know that Amazonian people are suffering. They are being killed, maimed,
yeah, tortured.
They just say, you're asking for separation. You see?
Yeah.
In 1967, 66, Nyerere recognized Biafra. Obote recognized Biafra. Several African countries broke ranks, yeah, with Organization of African Unity.
Yeah.
Now, your message here, you are here. Tell this hardliner Pan-Africanists who look, whom Biya goes to and begs, you see those people want to break my country. Tell them.
Let me start first of all, and I think I've had to deal with this quite a few times. And
convince them.
They will.
They might not be convinced, but give them the message. Well, give them the medicine.
let me start by making it very clear. I am a Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
I have always been. If there is one person who believes so much in the Pan-Africanist agenda, it is me. I believe in the Africa 2063 vision.
Yes.
This is one thing I have been groomed to look towards that and to work as part of that. I still believe in it, and I believe in it to this day. But we know that freedom and equal rights and all those things that are being espoused by Pan-Africanists can only happen when there is justice. When our forefathers took the decision in 1961 to say, we are willing to build a patrimony together with our brothers on the East, when they were given this Hobson's choice of having to join Nigeria or to join French Cameroon, they sat back and they asked themselves some very difficult questions. And the questions they asked were, do we want to break this African continent that we love so much? And I don't know if you've seen the images when Kwame Nkrumah himself traveled all the way from Ghana to southern Cameroons to celebrate our independence. And had conversations with our leaders to say, as part of this Pan-Africanist agenda, think about coming together with your brothers. Kwame Nkrumah at the time was hosting a whole lot of some of our brothers on the East who had fled. And in fact, from the West as well, there is the Tumaza who fled. That's from my village. The Tumaza fled and went and lived in Ghana at the time because they were being persecuted by French Cameroon, backed by the French regime in France. Now, Nkrumah was very, very much favorable to an Africa coming together, and he encouraged that. And our leaders took the initiative and said, yes, we are willing to get together with our brothers on the East and start to build towards this one Africa that we want. However, while we were going to our brothers, open arms, in this embrace of fraternity, they were looking at us and seeing stupidity, gullible people that they can trick into a relationship where within a short time they are taken everything that we had. Over time, we have learned lessons. And my message to our brothers and sisters who are espousing the Pan-Africanist agenda is that we are together in Pan-Africanism. But before we get there, it is important that we level the playing field. It is important that when we talk about opportunities are created for all African citizens, not for some. And that is why it's painful that the African Union, as it is today, continues to turn a blind eye to, and of course I understand the difficulty of the African Union, but just like the work that we did with the president of the chairman of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, we worked very hard behind the scenes with a whole host of partners, and we managed to get Cameroon to be deprived of hosting the African Cup of Nations.
Because you cannot host an African game in a country where human rights down the river are being committed. Killing of people. Which African? A Ugandan team of my team go to Cameroon to watch the killings across. We refused.
No ways.
That's a very good one.
And it is for that reason we are passing a very simple message. The African Union needs to take the same steps that CAF has taken and start to say, yes, Cameroon, we love you. We are all behind you, but these are the key things that you must put in place. You must respect human rights. You must give back to these people their rights as citizens of their country. Let them make their own decisions. So Pan-Africanism, start with me. I am 100% Pan-Africanist. I've participated in the Pan-Africanist conferences, submitted papers, and done everything to promote Pan-Africanism. But before we get to that point, it is important that we look at justice. Just like Peter Tosh said, I want equal rights and justice. We don't want peace. Peace only comes after. You talked about what happened in Uganda, in South Sudan, in Namibia, in all these countries. They started, first of all, by seeking justice, and then they've got peace. You can never have peace when there is no justice. In the case of Southern Cameroons, there will be no peace until we get justice. When we get justice, there will be peace for all.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that one, I think I am convinced as a Pan-African that there is something wrong in Cameroon.
Yes.
It must be sorted out.
Yeah.
I have no regrets for that. I've taken a stand and I've given my platform most of the time for 2.5 years saying there is something going wrong in Cameroon. Let me come back with this question.
Yeah.
Are you not going to fall in the same trap? This statehood is given to you, which is going to come. Convince me now that I am not going to look for you like I looked for Riek Machar. You know it's me who looked for Riek Machar.
I don't. I
brought him, say, go back, come.
Yes.
If you don't go, UN is coming.
Yes.
I put him on here. I told him I'm coming to South Africa myself.
Yes.
Because I'm the only friend he could listen to. Convince me that you will not fall in that trap.
Well, let us...
Once you are given...
the statehood.
The statehood. Because the statehood is coming.
Statehood is coming.
It's coming.
Yes.
And I see several of you academics. You remember, look here, you're a very good scholar. Let me show you what we Ugandans went through. Professor Yusuf Lule in Arusha, Moshi, Uganda National Liberation Front. I was the age of 17. We marched in. Lule, professor, well educated. Guess what he did? Immediately he reached Kampala after we have toppled Idi Amin. We are fighters of Chikosi Malum and the Fronansa Museveni, Chikosi Malum, us, and the Tanzanian People's Defense Forces. He said, what you have been looking for, you Baganda, it is here. Meaning that the rest of us, who even fought more, had nothing.
Yes.
You see, the first 80 days, we overthrew him. Threw him out in a plane to go. We put another man called Binaisa. After 1 year and some days, he also stayed. The chair is very sweet. We packed him,
yes,
arrested him, put him in Nile Marshals, deported him out of Uganda. We went. Now this is after we have removed the dictator Idi Amin.
Yes.
See how many governments we lost in a short time. Are we going to go that route? You people from there? Serious question, that one.
Dr. Matsanga, a few months ago, I did a presentation where this same question came up, and my presentation looked specifically at that. One of the advantages we have as Southern Cameroons is the benefit of hindsight. That we've seen what happened in Uganda, we saw what happened in, we've seen what's happening in South Sudan, we've seen what's happening in a whole host of countries that have been there before us, in Eritrea and so on, which have had to go through the same steps. There are some good examples we can copy from, and I think our focus should be on those good examples. Namibia went through the same thing, fought through its independence, and has been able to put in place a democratic dispensation over time. That is not impossible with us. We have the case of Somaliland. Somaliland is not completely independent, but since 1991, Somaliland has consistently had free democratic elections. The new president just got installed this year in Somaliland. So it is not impossible with us. Now, are we going to have those individuals who pass for leaders who would want to say, oh, this thing is mine. I was in this thing 30 years ago, so it can only, yeah, for sure, we're going to have them. But we're going to do the same thing that that happened to Binaisa, if it came to that. So we need to, I was in Juba. It was in our compound, the same compound I was working in, that the negotiations were happening with Okello. No, is it Okello? The lieutenant to Kony,
yes,
who died.
Yes.
It was in our compound. And who was the chief negotiator? Vice President Riek Machar.
Yes. And I was on the other side.
Exactly.
You must have not seen me.
Yes.
In Jubara.
Oh, you were in Jubara.
Oh, that's the man.
Ah, now I know.
You are now the man interviewing you was the chief negotiator
on the other side
of the Lord Resistance Army in the peace talks.
You see, I didn't know that.
Yes, this is the guy.
No, in the Ocha compound, that's where I was. I was part and parcel.
And we used to get our money from Ocha. For the payments, for the helicopters, for everything. With Grizzly.
Yes.
The Grizzly, the UN. So you, Chisano, this is the guy.
Chisano
so
was coming in every now and then. Oh, I've met all of them.
So you can see, I am asking from a very serious point.
I am happy to hear that.
Yes.
Now, the point I was going to make about some of our leaders is that go back to the South Sudan scenario. All through the very long war that the South Sudanese fought, there were those leaders,
yes,
and sometimes academics with the big titles who were one time with the people, other time they were working with the regime in Khartoum. We always need to know that you will have such people who are playing around for the sake of what they want to play, but you also have solid leadership. That's why we have done a lot of thinking ahead and say, if this happened, what do you do? If this happened, what do you do? You talk about scholarization of children. We are thinking, if this whole thing, as the Southern Cameroons Congress of the People, we are already beginning to think, if this thing were to go on for a very, very long time, which is possible, we are not going to let our children sit at home. Like I mentioned, I've been in this country, worked, lived there for so long that I know I saw children, because they never had the chance to go to school, to be educated, to be trained. All they did was come out to be soldiers, and all they understood was the language of violence. What do we do to ensure that our children do not end up like that? We're already beginning to think of that. And there are examples. When the Namibians realized that theirs was going to be a long war, they started to identify countries across the African continent and all the way to Cuba, taking children as young as 11 and sending them to these countries to be educated. And by 1990, when the time came, they took all those children back to Namibia. Those children are the ones who are running the government in Namibia today. So the point I'm trying to make is, yes, we are aware that there are all these dangers ahead.
Yes.
But we are thinking about
You'll overcome them.
And we know, because we've got the benefit of hindsight. We've seen it in other countries. That's why we've already put together a blueprint for Southern Cameroons in the future, which I think perhaps you've seen. We have come up with a plan for the scholarization of our children, but as scope, we also understand that not everybody who goes and shouts on social media and makes a lot of noise is necessarily a leader. That is why we invest a lot of time into beginning to identify real leaders and training them, with the hope that some of these leaders will be contributed towards the future, the building of the Southern Cameroons that we want. We will always have our rogue elements, but we must prepare for them. And we know that is an eventuality that we must have to deal with.
Thank you very much. Those are very, genuine answers, the answers of preparation, of the way forward. Yeah. You must see what might happen. Yes. There will be differences. Yeah. There are many differences after a struggle, in a struggle. Yeah. Everywhere, whenever you see a freedom, Samora Machel never reached.
Exactly.
After he had arrived, he disappeared. And nobody apparently in Africa thinks about Samora Machel. Where did this plane go? That's another big topic for another day. But let's move on. Another question that the viewers wanted to know.
Yes.
And as you see, the huge number of viewers, huge, it's determined per second, which you can see 230 per second.
Wow.
They are on you, and they are sending messages very serious. Yes. We shall talk about them, and we are on the platform. All of them, they are per second.
Yes.
They are waiting. They want to know your long term. The impact of colonization on Southern Cameroon, on Amazonia.
Yeah.
The youths have been, traumatized. And what plans do you have in place to roll back those negative effects on the youth, the killings, the torture, the maltreatment that they have received? What do you have? What plans do you have, sir, Chairman?
Well, way back sometime around 2003, 2004, when we sat down and we discussed these questions, we were very worried of the possibility of this happening, when we were thinking, if we go into any kind of violent revolution, there will be an impact on our people, on our youth. And how do we then find ways to address that? It was always part of the reality that we had to face. Long-term effect. Let me start from the fact that we have been a colonized people for the past 60 years almost. And by colonized, I'm talking about black-on-black colonization, annexation. That in itself is added upon the decades and decades of colonization, way back from 1884, under the Germans and then the British and the French. So it's a long time. But I want to draw comparison to, once again, I keep saying, we have got the benefit of hindsight. I want to draw comparison from a number of countries who have shown the way and have shown that, listen, you can come from the very, very bottom of the pit and still be able to reconstruct your lives. Uganda today, came from a very, very dark place. And I'm not saying Uganda has finally arrived.
No.
But when you look at the evolution of Uganda from around 1986 and what the Ugandans went through, I was in Uganda. I was in Kampala in 2006 when I listened to a parent talk to their child. And the child was, oh, you know, this has to change. And the mother was, you were not in this country in the 70s and to see what we went through. People, you will evolve. We will go through a dark place and eventually we will come out. We will get to a point where there is relative stability. In Rwanda today, Rwanda came from a genocide like we are going through. And out of that, the Rwandese are beginning to rebuild their country. It's a painful, it's a long exercise. Back to your question, what is the vision? What is the long term? The first thing is to recognize that it's not going to be an easy fix. It's not going to be, and I know a lot of, populist stance will say, oh, you know, we take over this thing and within 2 years, everything is fine. That is not true. We are going to have to pay the price. And the price does not stop with restoration. Once we take our country, it will require, in fact, the most difficult part will be in rebuilding that country rather than taking it over. So for the youth, for our young people, yes, there is going to be a very, very difficult path ahead for us to take. But the brilliance and the beauty of it is that that path will be determined with the participation of the youth. We will be doing it together. It will not be a matter of an 85-year-old man and a bunch of 85-year-old men who are 1 foot in the grave taking decisions for people for the future in which they are not going to participate. There is nothing wrong with our 85-year-olds being part and parcel of our revolution. But my understanding of the typical African society is that you get at a certain age when people are in their 80s, they play the role of godfathers. They sit back and they tell the younger ones, you shouldn't be doing it like this, rather do it like this. They cannot be on the front line. We now live and operate in a virtual, in a cyber world where you need to be on things like this. And you cannot be running a country as if it's still in 1962 when you came back from France. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So the future for our youth is not going to be an easy one after having gone through what we've gone through. But the good thing is that we are doing something about it. Let's not forget, and I keep saying this sometimes, when I look at our brothers, the Francophones, those who have gone through a Francophone education and orientation all their lives, they have been under the yoke of the French for exactly 100 years today. Now, if you look at the damage that has caused to them, the major difference is that they do not even have the courage that we have to do something about it. We are doing something, partly because those of our fathers and our mothers who lived through this are still alive to tell us that actually there is a past behind that was beautiful. We need to reclaim it. There is nobody that is French speaking in one of these French speaking countries today that lived when the French took over their countries. So after 3 generations, there is nothing left for them to look back to. So the only thing they know is what they know. Go to every single French speaking countries and that's what you'll find. The only thing that has changed in Rwanda today is because there is a bunch of individuals who were raised from the age of 2 in Uganda. When they came back to Rwanda, they came with a different culture. That is what has transformed Rwanda today.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much for those brilliant questions, answers that you have brought to the fore. Our viewers, also prepare your set of questions. After this question, I am going to ask the viewers to push some questions to the chairman of Southern Cameroon people, who is here, Mr. Milan Atam. Question that goes around. Have you visited the leaders who have been arrested and detained by Biya's government of late? And if yes, are they aware of the present infighting amongst you? As they lead, some there, you see, when you look at, I don't want to say it here because I want to unite all of you. I want all of you to have unity of purpose.
Yes.
Part of what made us successful to negotiate the Uganda peace process is the unity. You saw so many factions.
Yes.
But I stood firm and refused. I said, no, I know what it is. I will take the documents. If it's not there, the implementation will take place. In fact, what we gained out of the Uganda peace process in Juba is implementation. The Uganda government has implemented it. The people have returned. They are settled. 10 years passed. Today, I'm a happy man in the world. I work, that's why I have the station here. Because if I didn't do that, I would have not. People will say, why have you left the war still going on? Now, these leaders here of infighting. What is this infighting? What is it that you have a common enemy ahead? What are you looking? Why are you not uniting? Why do people want to run? Usually revolution has got several facets. One of them is that you could be infiltrated by Biya himself. Can you check yourselves? So go ahead, tell me. What have you contacted these leaders? If so, or have you come in touch to ask them, what advice do we take? Because towards the last minute of a liberation, there is always a scramble for the posts. So go ahead. I know it, that's why I sympathize. At the times I'm asking these questions, I'm sympathizing with you people in Cameroon, in Bazonia. Your people are dying, and some people want to fight over social media. I see quite a lot of things. Today I'm happy, very good comments are coming here. When I was interviewing Akwanga, I had, oh my God, another section came for me. And now here, these are very good comments. But all of them, I want you to unite. I want you to unite. That's it. I'm 63. I look very young, but very old.
You look for you look like 43.
Because I've lived in with others laughing like the way you laugh. So thank you very much. Tell us more about, have you been in touch with these men who have been detained without trial? And what is the advice they have given you?
Well, been in touch, yes. Visited, of course, no. As you might...
You can't visit there.
You probably know on the night in which they were abducted. I missed being picked up myself. I arrived late.
In Buhari's territory?
Yes.
Is Buhari... Can I hold on first? Africa has people you should not ever entertain. Even when you see them on a flight, don't climb the flight. I want to tell you, I'm frank. One. One has gone down 60 feet. That's Kofi Annan. Obasanjo. Have you seen? Buhari.
I'm listening.
Zuma. I'm now naming for you surrogates of the French Empire. When you see them coming near your territory, get scared. You hear me? Run. Because you are not, they come for money. Another one was Morgan Changarai. The late. Have you seen them? They work with George Soros behind the scenes to mutilate Africans. Kofi Annan created the Kofi Annan Foundation. What is it? It is to help the French to accumulate wealth with Total Oil. We have a problem here. So those are Africans, you run away very fast. And for me, when I see them, if Obasanjo is flying to Johannesburg, I take another flight. Because I don't want to get involved with such leaders. Now, these are leaders who have gone to see Biya. They even praise Biya. They tell him, you are the greatest son. You know, I worked with Chisano. President Chisano.
Now that's a gentleman.
A gentleman.
We
went to Kampala with me to Museveni for the first time. After 24 years. I and Museveni were not seeing eye to eye. Not even when it comes to London, I feel like burning the whole of London. I'm telling you. But when we reached Kampala, Museveni was making some funny jokes. Chisano stood up and said, my friend, Mr. President, you don't know how much we have convinced this gentleman to come here. And the type of jokes you are making here might lead us to a battlefield here. Because he sat on the other end, I sat this way. Then he said, He pointed the finger and said, you are UPC member. I said, what's wrong with you? You are the first UPC member. Why do you think UPC is mine? You became the youth winger before me because you are older than me by 10 years. So please don't point the fingers. It almost went on the table. I was going to cross from this table to catch the president. Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Kisano stood. Obasanjo does not.
Yeah.
Obasanjo will lull you into a trap.
Yeah.
So if you are talking about any peace negotiation, anything, he will only, if reaches Yaoundé, one gold diamond kilo, is enough. So those are the people. So go ahead. These are some of the people. Buhari has also become a part of it.
Yeah.
And you remember Total Oil and the Buhari and the Yakubu Gowon.
Yes.
Have you seen the history? How they are linked up to molest the people of Biafra together with. It's the same story.
Same.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he arrested you.
Yeah. No, thanks.
He arrested most of your leaders.
Yes.
Yes.
With the leaders, yes, we have spoken. We've had conversation. We continue to talk. We communicate. I mean, communication happens all the time. When I was on Robben Island, the Robben Islanders, they talked about how they used to communicate without talking. So, but yeah, we do communicate and we've spoken and we continue to talk. Now, about the leadership squabbles that we have, I don't think this is something that is new to the leaders in jail. Even before they went to jail, this was there. We worked very hard to organize the conclave, to bring the leaders together. And the desire remains to have unity. But unity is something that you cannot force. My thing when it comes to these squabbles is that, and like you rightly said, in every revolution, in every struggle, these things will happen. You will have disparity in ranks. But the key thing, and even before we go to the key thing, Dr. Matsanga, let's not forget that our people are coming from 57 years of disenfranchisement, of being stifled so they cannot talk, not being able to express themselves. We have been misused and disused to the point where when we had this opportunity to express ourselves, it exploded to the point where everybody expresses themselves in their own ways depending on the experience they've lived. There are those who would use very vile language. There are those who are going to be very, very aggressive and even violent in their language and their approach to things. This is all part of us expressing our frustrations and having to bottle up so much over a long period. So my personal perspective is that let's continue to understand and continue to forgive and continue to look forward to the future where eventually the anger within us dissipates to the point where we all bring ourselves together towards a common future. As of now, back to the unity thing and talking to the leaders. And I remember talking to our leader a couple of, not too long ago. And our conversation bothered on one single message. It doesn't matter how disparate we are in our ranks. The important thing is to have unity of purpose.
Thank you.
If we are focusing on nothing but the enemy, and even if we are coming from different directions, we are looking at getting to heaven and meeting God. Whether you're Muslim, you're Christian, you're Buddhist, as long as your goal is trying to get to the Almighty, that is what counts. It becomes a problem when you invest your time and instead of praying to God for salvation, you're trying to disparage other faiths. Now, that's where the problem is. So the only thing I can tell you for sure is that a lot of what's happening to our people and our leadership is quite understandable. It has been everywhere. You look at Zimbabwe in the days, Joshua Nkomo, Robert Mugabe. You look at the ANC, PAC with Robert Sobukwe in the days. This is normal. But as long as there is unity of purpose and our focus is the enemy, I've always said it. And like I used to tell our leader, Ayuk Tabe, don't spend your time trying to get everybody onto the train. The train must not wait. The train must keep going.
Yes.
We keep going. It gets to a point where people realize, hey, this train is not going to stop and wait for me.
And they will climb.
And they will run and get in.
Yes.
But when they're getting in, you read them the rules.
Okay.
These are the rules of getting onto the train. So for me, the key message is let's maintain unity of purpose. We will get there. All this confusion will eventually kind of come together and form some kind of mayonnaise.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Milan Atam. And now I turn to the audience. I've been filing several questions.
Yes.
And I want to read some of them. I'll pick a few.
Yes.
Of course, very many people, Gubile Fatou, said unity of purpose is key.
Yes.
And please, when you are writing, say where you are, where in the diaspora, people might think we are only here. We are all over the whole world. So, Gabia Fatung said the best. So let's start again. Grace Sogashas, I joined late. My God, they wanted to join much earlier.
Yes.
Chinedu Acha Mark, the serious, what does he say? Fidelis Ambe, is he not one who formed government? When he was forming, he didn't. I don't know what he's meaning. The serious issue we have to fight in Africa is total independence from any African country, in the sense that Nigeria government have brought AU in, both AU. This is from Nigeria, of course.
From Biafra.
But we are, the problems of Nigeria and Biafra are linked also to Amazonia because of both of you, but they are different settings.
Yes.
And we have power mongering is killing Africa.
Yeah.
That is the point. So far, I need questions. Anybody who wants to ask Mr. Milan Atam a question, the best form of political mobilization, comrade, government don't organize platforms, do. Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Yeah, you are right. That one says, His Excellency Siku was very strong and straightforward. He will not accept those squabbles during his time.
Exactly.
Yes, that one, people agree with you now.
Yeah.
And that one, Africans have let down Southern Cameroon. Now, and watching and talk while France and Britain are doing the same as 1950s. At Dr. Matsanga.
That's the South Sudanese.
That's the South Sudanese, yes. Thank you, Agot. And then Maximum Aaron has been one of my viewers for a long time. He says unity is the way forward to you.
Yep.
Continue what? We need Cameroon United Front in diversity. Is that a good point?
Unity and diversity.
We have so many and many and many. At this point, before I ask you the final question.
Yes.
I want to give you the opportunity. Or let me ask you the final question.
Yes.
Then give you the opportunity finally to address the people.
Yeah.
Your people. My final question is this. Are there any other things, including major projects in the pipeline, that you want to make public on behalf of SCCOP before you leave the studio? You might choose to answer. You might choose to keep them.
Yes.
Because I know when you are in a struggle, you don't reveal a lot of your any peaceful ways, any other lobby work you are going to do. Yeah. How much do you want us to lobby for you? How much do you want us to talk to African Union?
Yes.
Is African Union listening? Are they listening to your problems? Are people in Cameroon listening? What is the humanitarian on the ground? What can we do to elevate the humanitarian suffering that is taking place in those camps across those who have run? That is exactly what we are trying to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say before I give you time?
Yes.
Or combine that and say everything to the world. The camera is there.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let me start first of all by saying, in terms of our future projects, what have we done? What are we planning to do? As SCOPE, as you probably know, and our compatriots know already, we have been working on a number of projects. One of them, which lately we managed to get some results, and for which we are very proud of ourselves, has been the work that we've been doing in the background to ensure that Cameroon does not host the African Cup of Nations. The emissaries that we've sent to a number of countries and the meetings that we've had, and the assurances that we had from the various delegates we met to say, listen, we are working on this and you're going to get results. That we have accomplished. We wanted to ensure, and you probably know that as the Secretary General of the Governing Council, this time last year, we had already deployed an ambassador to the African Union. He also happened to be abducted in Abuja. And so as COPE, we have reignited that. We believe that diplomacy has to go hand in hand with every other thing, from self-defense through mass mobilization and so on. As COPE, that is an area in which we are investing a lot. Like you said, there is a lot of the work we do that we don't want to talk about simply because it doesn't help anybody to go out there shouting about what we are doing. We are planning to have our policy review conference in March next year, as well as our Congress of the People, which will be happening in June next year. But probably in the immediate term is the visit that we will be paying to our compatriots in the United States. We will be in Atlanta. We will be in Maryland, we will be in Boston, we will be in California, and a number of states. These are the visits. But behind that, once again, the major purpose for going to the United States has not been this visit, but rather to be able to have some key meetings with key stakeholders who are beginning to warm up, and thank our African-American friends and comrades who have actually come on board and become members of SCOPE. And they are the ones who are now opening some doors for us. We want to make sure that we go knocking on those doors that have been opened and start to build a partnership. And like I mentioned, 2018 had been the year we had put in place for the internationalization of our struggle. Unfortunately, that got derailed. This revolution has been thought through and planned. The first year, which was 2017, was to build social cohesion internally. We achieved that when we got millions of our people to go out onto the streets on the 22nd of September with peace plans. We knew we had accomplished that. The second year was the internationalization. And the third year was basically putting the final touches on, which was ensuring that we now go for the economic interest of Cameroon. Unfortunately, 2018 has been lost. So 2019 will require us working double hard to accomplish this. We must bear in mind every act of exploitation in the world, be it racism, apartheid, slavery, slave trade, has never been on the basis of I hate you, but it has always been on the basis of what are my economic interests. So we know as SCOPE, and we're working on that. If we want to defeat the Yaoundé regime, we must target its economic interest. And that's what we've started doing. So short term, medium term, long term, those are our projects. We are confident that this time next year, we would have established at least one diplomatic mission out there in one of the countries with whom we are talking. And just to say, you wanted me to give a final word to our people. Can I take advantage of this and do that?
That you have.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you call upon your people.
Yes.
Told those in the camps.
Yes.
Those who are suffering.
Yes.
Those under torture.
Yeah.
Those in the prisons. Call also upon the Yaoundé government.
Yep.
To think.
Yes.
About Cameroon.
Yeah.
About themselves.
Yep.
What next?
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Idi Amin is not here. Biya could go.
Yeah.
What next? Mobutu is not here. Bokassa is not here.
Yes.
These are people who ruled these African countries with iron hands, iron fists. Emperor Bokassa was even eating human flesh.
Yep.
Idi Amin looked for human flesh in Uganda.
Yeah.
They are not here.
Yeah.
Talk direct to Biya. Say, Mr. President, what's wrong with you? You are killing our people.
Yeah.
What for? To leave them free, to have a settled, free Amazonia, so that we live together under exchange pleasantries wherever we meet.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? There you are, the camera is there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Let me start, first of all, by talking to our people on ground zero. Mommy them, papa them, I know the difficult time we want to go through. And sometimes the way Even myself, I get serious difficulties imagining what you want to go through. My brothers, them, my sisters, them. But this, I will fight. We don't postpone them for a long time. Maybe the time this way we will stop. And thank God, even when some of we would even think for relent with effort, when I don't show you the way. I don't hear a lot of people don't talk about the possibility of leadership coming from ground zero. Would they look forward to that? People for ground zero need to take this struggle and take the way forward. At the end of the day, if we make all the noise we make them outside there, the real battle day now for ground zero. For my brothers, them, we not only defend who mommy them, defend who papa them, who brothers, who sisters. I want to thank una and for say una continue for be strong. Who day behind una. Who be aware, say certain shortcomings the day. This one a normal thing for every revolution. Maybe I go take advantage of this for address this issue. We would only get certain worrying news of extortion of our mommy and our papa them. Make a tell una something. Every revolution, especially when you carry out guerrilla warfare, your best friend na your community. The moment where you start to extort from the community, you go lost the support of that community, and in the process you lost the war. No one for lost the war. And I'll be happy, see, some of the boys them on the ground, they don't start to capture those boys and way Atam and Jiron, they send and make the kind of cause chaos in the name of Amber boys. For talk say, una continue to be very, very vigilant. Make everybody make sure say inside the neighborhood, inside the block, inside the quartier, una be very vigilant as to who they operate, because anything will happen for the now responsibility and now una responsibility. That one be very, very important. So I want to continue for Tankuna. Now, let me turn to our compatriots who are in the diaspora and say, we continue to thank you for all the support and all the work that you've done for this revolution. Please do not relent your effort. I know that many are a bit worried about the stagnation. This is what happens with every revolution. The Israelis had to wander in the desert for 40 years to even find the way. We've been wandering for 57 years. We are not very far. We just need to keep focus. And perhaps to our leaders in jail and all those who have been abducted, we will continue to give you the support we've been given. Those who have been arrested way back in 2016, 2017, 2018, we will continue to give you the support that we are giving. As scope, the contribution that we've been doing will continue, and we will continue to use the channels that we've been using. We want to talk to the faith-based organizations who have been great in terms of our mobilization, that they must continue doing the work that they've been doing. We will continue to build, and I am confident that 2019 will be the year when we move this thing to a completely different level. Key amongst all of this to our people in jail is the fact that you continue to be our torchbearers. Your courage is just something else. I saw the pictures yesterday of Sisiku Ayoktabe in court. And while people were giving all kinds of analysis, the one thing that stood out for me were his eyes. And that no matter what they had gone through, his eyes continued to breathe fire. And it is that fire that we all must retain in our minds and continue to push into the future. 2019 is coming. I will be together with the scope leadership in the United States of America in the next few weeks. And from there, we will be going to Europe. Let's continue to build a revolution. And one thing is important. We should be united in our purpose. And our purpose is taking away the Yaoundé regime from our territory. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have comments, some interesting comments. Some people are waking up. He is Southern Cameroonian. He is what? all those. Someone has come. Don't call his name, please. The scoops. The scoops feel that they are turning. Now they are in this to carry other. No, those are some of the comments that we expect.
Yes, of course.
Not everybody would be happy with what you have done.
Yeah.
You have sent a message to your people.
Yeah.
I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has been watching this show together with our sister platform in 147 countries all over the world.
Yeah.
Those who have been there in China. This station is a Pan-African station. We want to listen to views of that nature.
Yes.
We want people to bring in. We want to find a solution for the conflict in Cameroon.
Yeah.
What can African Union do? What can East African Community do?
Yeah.
What can ECOWAS, SADC, IGAD, all these organizations, EU, those listening to us? It is not that there is anything that is impossible on earth. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
We could be fighting. That's why the Second World War ended. People fought, people killed, Hitler killed people, but lastly, people agreed to sit down with Hitler in Berlin conference and other conferences in the world to sort out the difficulties. Today, Germany is a great nation because it accepted redemption. So we never know. Talking does not mean war does not mean we stop talking. We must talk. Talking when the war has ended. But when the war is still on, talk.
Indeed.
Talk and continue to talk. Talking we can find a solution. There are ways. I want to thank you very much for taking all your time from the busy other duties international that you conduct. I want to say thank you very much for honoring our studio. I don't know whether you have found that it's a big empire. You must have thought it was a small place where, you find the studio is big.
Yes, it is.
We shall take you around and you see how it is, how big it is, including the other side and this side and our radio station. I hope you'll be listening to our music. The rumba music.
Yes.
The radio station is behind there. Very many people working right now. It sends the music 27 hours, 24 hours, 7 days, 365.
Maybe I should, in thanking, and if you permit, Dr. Matsanga, I want to also seize this opportunity to thank you.
Yes.
For and Punchline.
Yes.
For all that you've done, not only for our people, but for the African continent.
Thank you.
And when I listen to you talk and the work that you've done that I didn't know, some of which I know and didn't know that you were involved in, it only increases my respect for you and the work that you've done.
Thank you very much.
Sometimes the work you do, it only lives after you.
Yes.
I am happy and I'm very honored to be here. When I walked in here, I was like, wow, I didn't expect this. And there is no doubt in my mind that I will be one of the first ambassadors of Punchline. I will be out there getting more people, not only to watch your TV, but to take the time, travel all the way here to Nairobi.
Yes.
Sit with you face to face.
Thank you very much, Mr. Milan Atam.
Asante sana.
Thank you, asante sana kukuja Nairobi. Kenya is a peaceful country. It's an island of East Africa.
Yes, indeed.
While in Kenya spread peace.
Yes, it is.
We have a handshake.
Yes.
The redemption strategy. That's mine.
Yes.
That's the redemption. Building of bridges.
Yeah.
I talked about it and I was nicknamed Mr. Redemption. So here I am. You never know, you might appoint me to be your redemption strategy.
No, we have to talk. In fact, we have
after
a conversation.
The war, you need to redempt with so many people.
Yes.
There is always a redemption across the bridge.
Yeah.
That song, you remember?
I remember.
Across the bridge.
Across the bridge.
There will be no more sorrow.
There will be no sorrow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Milan Atam.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. God bless you. The rest of you, all up there, and Tawish and the rest can come and take a picture.
Yes.
All of us,
take
come,
pictures.
come, all of you.
Asante sana.
Come and we take pictures. All of you from behind. I want my team here. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Call the people to come.
Yeah,
we have a team.
Pictures.
A huge team behind there.
Yes. I've seen your team.
Come, come, all of you.
Yeah.
Crossing while let people see you.
Yes. And to thank you. Sometimes people don't know that.
Except the director, the Miriam can stay behind.
Yes.
But the rest come.
Yes, yes, yes. Let Southern Cameroonians see you and thank you.
We want the people of Cameroon to see you. Where are you, all of you? Yes, come, you see. We have the beauties.
Yes.
Yes, come, stand this way.
Frida.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks. Please.
Pass this way, Frida. Come and stand here. Our Yego, Stephen, Leave the cameras to stand wherever it is.
This is special.
Yes, come.
Yes.
Jeff. Yeah, go, come.
But you're not being seen. Are you on camera?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
We are on camera. Don't stop the camera there, the hand.
Yes,
that
careful.
Hand, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a big team. It's just increasing.
Yes, yes. There are many.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yes.
That's the handshake.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much. Any signs you can do? This station, therefore, is for Africa, with Africa, by Africans. Ciao.
In the heart of the rocky, rugged savanna landscape in Kenya's Rift Valley, a quiet sanctuary sits beautifully in a pristine environment. Welcome to Kikaloj, Gilgil, an exclusive wilderness resort with spectacular scenic views, rock formations sculpted by time, water and wind, and a sunset that gives way to silent nights. We took time to unravel nature's beauty so that you would come to experience it at its most majestic form. Our charming canvas cottages come with opulent beds and plush armchairs. Sink into them with your book or cozy app and listen to your favorite music, or just talk and get to know yourself and nature better in the silence that abounds. During your stay at Kikaloj, your comfort and relaxation is our business. That's why we set up spacious double rooms ideally orchestrated for couples getaways or for families looking to relax in a place that is essentially a home away from home. Our strategic location treats you to a close-by experience of Nakuru National Park, Hell's Gate National Park, Lake Naivasha and Mount Longonot, as well as several other local attractions around the vicinity. Experience first-class treatment from our qualified staff, serving you the most tantalizing of meals prepared with only the best of ingredients by the best of chefs. Make reservations and we will go an extra mile to accommodate you. Accommodation rates are affordable. Kikaloj, home away from home.
Welcome to Multiple Solutions Limited, a fully licensed air operator in Kenya that handles clearing and forwarding of cargo in and out of the East African corridor. With our latest cargo plane, Boeing B737-200 series aircraft, we will give you a world-class, personalized and timely experience in delivery of goods across the African continent and the Middle East region. Multiple Solutions Limited, your logistics partner of first choice.
Today, lunch and dinner meals are made by many, but Mr. Wok has the best. We inspire to be your home away from home when it comes to good food. Hungry for something deliciously different? Satisfy your appetite with gourmet meals cum cuisines from different parts of the world prepared with only the freshest produce. Each meal is prepared to suit your taste using only the finest and highest quality organic ingredients. The amazing staff caters to your needs with distinct and phenomenal execution, sizzled with a great ambience and proper lighting that matches the ethos of your cuisine. Or enjoy hospitality at its best at our poolside area. We do home delivery. You can eat in or take out. Call us on 0724 100 100. Catch us on the web at www.mrwok.net or email us on events@mrwok.net to make reservations and let us know if there's a special occasion to be celebrated. We certainly got that recession buster just for you. Come over to Mr. Wok Restaurant at Kenjan Apartments, Parklands, only 5 minutes drive from the CBD, or our branches in Capital Center, Mombasa Road, The Hub Karen, Two Rivers, or Cedar Mall in Nanyuki. Mr. Wok, simply delicious.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.